Okay students, now I am going to explain about the complementary angles. Complementary angles means the sum of, in mathematics you learned that the sum of two angles is equal to 90 degree. Sum of two angles equal to 90 degree means they are said to be complementary angles. I want the complementary angles for oblique projectile. Okay, complementary angles for oblique projectile. What are the complementary angles for the oblique projectile? Oblique projectile means we know already any object which is thrown at certain angle with the horizontal, that is said to be oblique projectile. That angle should not be 90 degree. Complementary angles means what? The range is same for the two angle of projections. Range of projectile is same for two angle of projections. Two angles of projection. Range is same for the two angles of projections. That two angles are called as complementary angles. Range is same for two angle of projections. Okay, the two angles must be complementary to each other. The two angles are complementary angles. Complementary angles. That means sum of the two angles must be equal to 90 degree. What I am going to tell it here. For example, this is the xy plane, x-axis and y-axis. Somebody thrown the object with some u velocity. Okay, and here it will travel along this path. Right, it will travel along this path. Here we are throwing the with an angle, certain angle at here. Okay, that we can consider as the theta. Okay, and another object is thrown with some other angle. I thrown with some other angle, that is 90 minus theta, let us consider, and that will also travel in the same path, and but it travel like this. For example, you see here we thrown the two objects, okay, with the same velocity u, right? One is thrown at an angle theta and other is thrown at an angle 90 minus theta. Then they for the both of them the range is the same. The range is the same. That means the range of the first object and the second object is the same. That means the range is the same for the two angles of projections. Right? Range is the same for the two angle of projections. Then that angle of projections are said to be complementary angles and their sum should be equal to 90 degree. Okay, and examples of complementary angles. Okay, and here the example of complementary angles is 45 minus theta and 45 plus theta. This is the one set of angles, and other set of angles is right, one is theta and other one is 90 minus theta. Then one object is thrown with theta angle, other object is thrown with 90 minus theta angle. Both will acquire the same range. That means, for example, theta you take 30 degree, one object is thrown at 30 degree angle and it will follow this path, and another object is 90 minus 30. 90 minus 30, if you throw at another angle, that is 90 minus 30, right, and then it will follow this path, right? And here what happening, 90 minus 30 means 60 degree we are throwing. Then one object is thrown with 30 degree, it acquire the R1 range, this one, and another object is thrown 60 degree, right, it acquire the same range, that is R2, that is equal to R1. That means the range is same for the two angle of projections. The two angles are called as complementary angles and their sum should be equal to 90 degree, and these are said to be complementary angles. Complementary angles in case of oblique projectile. Complementary angles means we know that the range should be same for the two angle of projections. Okay, according to mathematics, the complementary angles means sum of the two angles equal to 90 degree. Here in these two examples, sum is equal to 90 degree. Okay, 45 minus theta plus 45 plus theta, then that sum is 90 degree. Here theta plus 90 minus theta, their sum also 90 degree, right? That are the complementary angles. Now let us see the range is, we have to show that range is same for the angle of projections. For example, one question I will ask, for a given, for a given velocity of projection, for a given velocity of projection, show that, show that range is same for two angle of projections. (45 minus theta and 45 plus theta). For both of them, then we have to show that the range is same. For that, let us see. And here the velocity of projection we can consider as u, acceleration due to gravity is g, right? And first object is thrown with an angle that is theta 1. We can consider it as the 45 minus theta. For this, the range we can consider as the r1. Okay, r1. Then r1 formula is what? U square sine 2 theta by g. But theta is theta 1 at here. Then here u square into sine 2 theta 1 is what? 45 minus theta, and by g, then u square into sine 2 into 45, that is a 90 minus 2 theta you will get. Then 90 minus 2 theta, what you will get here? 90 minus sine 90 minus theta is the cos theta. Then according to the mathematics formula, you will get as cos 2 theta. This is equation 1. We find out the range for the first object. Then for the another angle of projection, for the another angle of projection, for 45 minus theta, we find out the, for the angle of projection 45 minus theta, we find out the range. And for the angle of projection 45 plus theta, I want to find out the range. That is u square sine 2 theta 2 by g we want to write. Then u square sine 2 theta 2, second angle of projection is 45 plus theta by g. Then we have to simplify it. Then u square into sine 90 plus 2 theta you will get by g. Sine 90 plus 2 theta value also I am multiplying with 2 just. Then sine 90 plus 2 theta formula also cos 2 theta, that means cos 2 theta by g. From this, what you are getting, if you take the angle of projection 45 minus theta, range we got is u square cos 2 theta by g. If you take the angle of projection 45 plus theta, then also you got the range as u square cos 2 theta by g. That means for 45 minus theta and for 45 plus theta, for these two angle of projections, the range is same. The two angle of projections are said to be complementary angles. From equation 1 and equation 2, we write as r1 is equal to r2. That means the range is same for the two angle of projections. One is 45 minus theta and other one is 45 plus theta. Then these two angles are said to be complementary angles. Why they are complementary angles? Okay, their ranges are equal and their sum is equal to 90 degree. Students, is it clear? If you have any query regarding the complementary angles, you can ask me now. Right? Start. Similarly, we can also prove for the theta and 90 minus theta also. For the theta and 90 minus theta also, we can prove that their ranges are same. Range is same. Range means already you know, right? Complementary angles in case of oblique projectile are the, right? Range of the two, range of projectile should be same for a given velocity of projection. Okay, with the u velocity, object is thrown at theta degree, it acquires the r1 range. For the, with the same velocity u, I thrown with another velocity, another angle 90 minus theta, it also acquires the same range. That means for the two angle of projections theta 90 minus theta or 45 minus theta 45 plus theta, right? One set is this one and other set is theta and 90 minus theta. Then for that sets, right, and the range is same. We also proved that the range is same for the 45 minus theta and 45 plus theta, right? And similarly, you can also prove for the theta and 90 minus theta. Students, any doubt regarding this? You can ask me. Divya, any doubt? Clear everything? Any other member, if you have any query regarding this, you can ask me. If you not have any query, then we will go for the next topic. What we are telling it here, it was very simple that, right, complementary angles in case of oblique projectile. Complementary means sum should be equal to 90 degree. The set of two angles, for that the range is the same. You throw it with the 30 degree, okay, and you throw with the 60 degree. 30 plus 60, 90 we are getting. Then their range will be same if you throw with the same velocity. If you throw with the same velocity and same object. Okay, one object we thrown with 30 degree and other object is thrown another time we are throwing the same object with 60 degree. At that moment their range will be same. Clear, students? Can I go for the next topic? Let's go for the next topic. Okay, right, good. Now let us discuss the next topic, that is horizontal projectile. Horizontal projectile, right? The projectiles are two types are there. One is oblique projectile and other one is horizontal projectile. What is horizontal projectile? Horizontal projectile means, for example, this is a top of building. This is the ground and the building height is h. Okay, one object is thrown from the top of the building horizontally, right? Horizontal means what? Parallel to the earth surface. Whenever we thrown horizontally, then it will follow this path. It will follow this path and reaches the ground. And reaches the ground, right? The object is following some path and reaches the ground at here. Then I have to show that this path also parabola. This path also parabola, right? And for the purpose, for example, object starts from here and after some time the object goes to this position and it takes some displacement along the x-axis, some displacement along the y-axis. Okay, after coming to here along the x-axis, the some velocity it has, that should be constant, that is u. Along the y-axis also it has some velocity, that is vy. Okay, for example, it takes t time to travel from O to P, right? What we are doing it here, from the top of the building we are throwing horizontally. Horizontal means along the x-axis and parallel to the surface of earth, right? And then it will never go continuously in the straight, then it will follow this path, right? And it will fall down because of gravity, right? And it will follow this path, and I have to show that the path followed by this horizontal projectile also parabola, and it takes some distance along the x-axis to reach the point x and some distance along the y-axis, because little bit it will come down. It will come down means going along y-axis and also going along x-axis. Simultaneously it is traveling along x and y-axis. That's why we say that it is moving in the plane, right? Plane means moving along x-axis and moving along y-axis. Let us see along x-axis what we have to take it here. I want to derive the general equation here. Along x-axis object velocity is what? Can you tell? We are throwing along x-axis only. Object velocity is u, but along x-axis there is no gravity. Gravity acts vertically downward, earth gravitational force. Along the x-axis no gravity. Acceleration due to gravity along the x-axis is 0, because gravity will act only in downward direction, never acts horizontally, right? And due to gravity no object will go along horizontal, right? And the acceleration is 0. Then it travels some distance along the x-axis in time t, right? That is in time t object travel from O to P. Object travel from O to p in time, but small t. During that, it takes x displacement along x-axis and y displacement along y-axis. What is the time at here? The time is t. We can take. Okay, let us see. We have one equation. Yes or no? S is equal to, tell me, ut plus half at square. That in that you substitute s as x, u as u. What is u at here? U is the velocity along the x-axis, right? Ut plus this second term will become 0. Is it correct? From this we write t is equal to x by u. This is equation 1, right? And next along y-axis also we have to write. What we have to write along the y-axis? Can you tell what is the initial velocity along the y-axis? Huh? Initial velocity. We are throwing horizontally. We are giving velocity along x-axis, but there is no velocity along the y-axis, right? We are not giving the velocity to go down, even though it is going down because of very good, very good, because of gravitational force it is going down, right? Okay, now let us see. Means we are not giving any velocity to move down, but even though it is going because of earth gravitational force, right? It is going down because acceleration is plus g, and it takes some displacement along the y-axis. How much down it came, that is y. Is it correct? Yes or no? O to p, object travel from O to p. That means it takes some, it moves little forward, that is displacement along x-axis. Little downward, that is displacement along y-axis. Displacement along y-axis is y, right? The time traveled is t. Okay, similar derivation in case of oblique projectile also we derived the same manner. Yes or no? S we write as y, u we write as 0, 0 into t 0, and then a is g, and finally we are getting the half gt square. Y is equal to half gt square you will get. Okay, direct step I wrote, but if you want I will write the clearly. 0 t plus half gt square. Is it correct? Huh? Why you are not responding, students? Yes. Then what you will get, half gt square. Next I want to write something, that is half g into, from equation 1 t we write x by u whole square. Is it correct? This is we are writing from equation 1. Then we will get like this. This is u, this is u. Okay, and g by 2 u square we will get. This g numerator, denominator 2 is there, and u square also there, into x square we will get. And this g by 2 u square I can consider as the k. Okay, g by 2 u square we can consider as k. Then we write y is equal to k x square. This is the equation for the horizontal projectile. This is the equation for the horizontal projectile. From this equation we say that right, from equation 2, this is the equation for the what, horizontal projectile, but this equation appears like a parabolic equation. That's why the path followed by the horizontal projectile also parabola. Path followed by horizontal projectile also parabola, right? Okay, students, right? If you have any query, sir, excuse me, sir, like that, you can ask me anything, right? Either you can ask directly or you write in chat box. Okay, right? Now yes, 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 yes. Okay, yes. Aurikbar, actually I was in the middle, the your voice is missing. Once again you can repeat the question. uh Uh, no. I am writing the t value from first case, not from here. Not from here. Just I am using the equation 2 from the second case, and I am combining the first and second cases. I am deriving the general equation for the projectile. The key, you see this. This is the first equation while taking along x-axis we got. This is the second equation that you got from the y-axis. You combine both of them to get the general equation for the projectile. Because the projectile means both are there, along the x-axis is there, along the y-axis are there. You combine both of them. One equation I got based on x-axis, one equation I got based on y-axis, right? And after that I combined the both of them, then we got this one. This is not for the along y-axis. This equation is not for along y-axis, right student? Have you understood now? This equation, this is the combined equation. That means this is for the projectile. I combined the both of the x-axis and y-axis equations. If you take only x-axis, you got equation 1. If you take only y-axis, you got equation 2. I combined the both of them. For the purpose, I substituted the equation 1 in equation 2. Then we get the combined equation. That is the projectile equation. This we not derived for the along y-axis. Final equation is not for the along y-axis. Next, I want the height of the tower. Okay, from where we are throwing the object. Okay, height of tower I want, from which you are throwing the object. Right? How to find out the height of tower from this case? What formula you should use to find out the height of tower? Or first we find out the time of descent, no need of height, right? In that time formula you will get height also. For example, I want to find out the time of descent, time of flight. Okay, time of flight means how much time it takes to reach the ground from maximum height. You see this, I am throwing one object along the horizontal, then it reaches the ground like this. Then how much time it takes to reach the ground from the maximum height? Actually, time of flight means total time, how much time it will fly. No time of ascent. In this case, there is no time of ascent. It is not going up. It is going down only, right now. If it goes up, then time to reach the maximum height is the time of ascent. But it is not going up. It is going down only, right? Means time of ascent is 0 and the time of descent is equal to time of descent. Then time of flight equal to time of ascent plus time of descent. But the time of ascent is 0. That's why time of descent only. Time of flight. Is it right? Clear? Then I wonder how much time required to reach the ground. I am taking it as the t only. Small t we will take, not the capital T, right? We will take small t only. Time taken to reach the ground is a small t. You may take small t or capital T, whatever it may be. There is no problem at all. Right? Let us see. And the height from which the object is thrown, h. Then how much time it takes to reach the ground. For the purpose, time taken to reach the ground means we have to take along y-axis, right? Along y-axis we have to take time to reach the ground. Time to reach the ground. Right? Along y-axis, what are the conditions? Initial velocity is what? 0. Huh? We are not throwing along y-axis, na? Y-axis, we are throwing along x-axis, but we are not giving any velocity to go down. Even we cannot resolve into components also. u0 along y-axis, along y-axis acceleration is plus g. Along y-axis how much displacement it takes? Along y-axis, how much displacement? You see that time to reach the ground, na? For the ground, how much displacement it takes, that we want. For the ground along the y-axis, it is reaching the ground. You don't take the displacement like this. That is the total displacement. But I want only y-axis displacement. You should follow the cursor. Along y-axis, how much down it came, right? This much down it came along the y-axis. What is that? That is equal to height of the tower. Is it correct? Huh? Along the y-axis. Huh? No problem. That is never be minus. It will be positive only. Why it will be minus? If you throw any object upward, then if it goes down, then at that moment you should take it as minus, because you are throwing up but going down. That's why it will be minus. But in which direction you are throwing, in that direction if it will go, we cannot take it as minus. And the time we can take as the t. Then here we will get s is equal to ut plus half at square. Then s we write as h, u we write as 0 into t plus half gt square. Then h is equal to, we will get as half gt square. I want the t formula. T square is equal to 2h by g. Then time to reach the ground is just simple. It is under root 2h by g, right? ये फार्मूला यूज करके आप टाइम फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं, नहीं तो हाइट भी फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं, राइट? एनी डाउट इन दिस डेरिवेशन? This is only time. Okay, now let us go for the another derivation, that is range of projectile. Range of horizontal projectile I want. Range of horizontal projectile. Range of horizontal projectile. Range means what? How much horizontal distance it can travel. That is the range. You see this? I am throwing horizontally with velocity u. Along the x-axis I am throwing, but along the y-axis there is no velocity. It is going like this and hitting the ground, right? And then after that, what I want to find out? I want to find out the range. How much horizontal distance it can travel along the x-axis, right? This is the maximum horizontal distance traveled. The maximum what? Horizontal distance traveled. Maximum horizontal distance traveled by a body. Okay, right? Horizontal means along the x-axis you should take. Okay, can you tell the conditions for the x-axis? Can you say the conditions for the x-axis? What is initial velocity? Somebody you say fast. Along the x-axis no gravity. Is it correct? Along the x-axis time travel from इधर से इधर आ गया. Then the time traveled is t. That is equal to under root 2h by g. Is it correct? Time traveled is the t, right? And displacement equal to r. From here to here it is traveled. Along the x-axis how much distance traveled? You see, along the y-axis h distance, along the x-axis r distance. Total displacement you combine both of them, join the initial and final points with a straight line. Total displacement is under root h square plus r square you will get, because h down, r forward. Then total displacment you should join both of them. That is different. I am not asking the total displacement. I am asking the displacement along x-axis, only x-axis. How much forward it goes. That is r. Use the formula. S is equal to ut plus half at square. S is what? R. U is u. T is what? T. And a is 0 along the x-axis. No gravity, no acceleration. That u into t we got. But t formula is what? Do you know? Time to reach the ground, right? Under root 2h by g. Just now we derived. That is the formula for the range of the horizontal projectile is u under root 2h by g. Next, last one point I will tell. After that, I will close today's topic. Okay, no doubt not till now. Huh? Okay, next topic is the next topic means only related to horizontal projectile only. Velocity on reaching ground. Velocity on reaching ground. With what velocity it strikes the ground? Velocity on reaching ground I want to find out. With how much velocity it hits the ground? This I want to know. With how much velocity it hits the ground. Then for the purpose what we have to do it here, just you have to take like this, and this is the initial velocity that you are throwing. It strike the ground at here, and during that it has the two velocities. Along the x-axis it has some velocity, that is the constant. Along the x-axis velocity is constant. Is it correct? Why along the x-axis velocity is constant? Can you tell? Yes, along the x-axis no acceleration. That's why along the x-axis velocity should be constant. But along the y-axis it has some velocity. That is Vy, we can consider as the V. It is falling from h height. Right? H is the top of the building and point of projection. And total velocity we can consider as the V. Right? If one velocity along the x-axis like this there, velocity along the y-axis like this there, total velocity will be in the middle according to parallelogram law. If two vectors are entered by two sides, the resultant indicated by the diagonal. Right now? X and y components like this there, total will be like this there. If you split V into components, you will get Vx, Vy. If you combine components, you will get V. V को दो भाग में split करेगा तो Vx, Vy आएगा. Vx, Vy को combine करेगा तो V आएगा. चलो Vx फार्मूला पता है. Velocity on reaching ground means total velocity I want. Total velocity if you want, then what you have to do first? Along horizontal, right? Initial velocity is u, acceleration is 0, right? And the time traveled is t, and final velocity is v along the x-axis. Vx we can consider. V is equal to u plus at you use. Then what you will get? Vx is equal to u plus a is 0. You will get Vx equal to u. And along y-axis what you will get? Along vertical. Vertical means y-axis. Okay, along vertical initial velocity 0, acceleration g plus g, time traveled t, right? Yes or no? Or the displacement is how much? Displacement is h along the y-axis. Along the y-axis. This is the y-axis. Vertical means. Horizontal means x-axis. And the final velocity is what? Tell me. Vy. Is it correct? Then we can take here v square minus u square is equal to s. We will use. V square is what? Vy square minus u square is what? U square. 2 into a is g, s is h. u0 na along the y-axis. No velocity. Then vy square is equal to what you will get? 2gh. Then vertical velocity we will get as under root 2gh. This is equation 2. Right? Vertical velocity we got as under root 2gh. Vx we got u, Vy we got under root 2gh. Then I want the total velocity. How to find out the total velocity? Can anyone give the idea? Total velocity is how much? Velocity on reaching ground. With how much velocity object strikes the ground? That is v. Then how to do it? You see this, use the parallelogram law, right? You see here very carefully, this is Vx while hitting the ground, this is the Vx and this is the Vy. And the total will be resultant will be like this. There you may form the rectangle at here, and when this is Vy and this is also Vy, when this is Vx and this is also Vx, you can use the Pythagoras principle. Then V is equal, directly we will get as the root Vx square plus Vy square. Is it correct? Huh? And Vx is what? U, equation 1. Vy square is what? 2gh. Then finally formula we are getting is V is equal to under root U square plus 2gh. This is the velocity I am reaching from. How you got this formula actually? Or this, even this you can write in vector form also. Velocity V bar is equal to Vx along x-axis. Right now, V bar is equal to, we write as Vx along x-axis, Vy along y-axis. We write like this. Along x-axis means I cap, along y-axis means j cap. Magnitude what you will get? Can you write the magnitude under Vx square plus Vy square? Is it correct? Many methods are there to solve the problem. Any one you can use. Okay students, clear? Any doubt?